Ecopanel, sponsored by TechDevNet.com.
Hi, welcome to the first edition of the Ecopanel. I have Yatin Premchand from CEAS and Amelia Lim, who is the convener of Cleantech Happy Hour in Singapore. Hi guys.
Hello.
Nice sunny day for us.
It is indeed.
It is indeed. Now, first thing we want to kick off with is headlines. Interesting thing with Sunseap and Goldman Sachs.
Indeed.
They're a member of CEAS, aren't they?
Correct. Yes, they are.
Oh, okay. So they must be very excited. Is there much information on this or not really?
Not that much information in the public domain yet.
Okay.
But we are quite excited to see what happens, noting the value of the investment that's gone into Sunseap for financing models. Solar leasing is something that's relatively new in Singapore. But with this kind of a backing, hopefully it'll grab the attention of other investors and we'll have more players in the market.
It's a lot of money, $50 million.
That's a lot of money, but that's nowhere compared to the size of or the potential of solar leasing.
Indeed, we know that from the Cleantech renewable energy paper.
That you worked on as well.
Yes, but I didn't do the solar part. Christoph England, who is an absolute superhero, did the work on that. He's a very smart fellow, Christoph.
Yes.
All right. Well, it'll be interesting to see what that. We'll track that deal as it goes through. Another one that's come up is the Malaysian Palm Oil Board. Amelia, of course, now resides in KL. MPOB have tightened up on discharge. We haven't heard any information about it yet, but they're tightening up on greenhouse gases and foaming. And apparently they've written to a number of the mills to demand action. So we'll be interested to see that. That's something that perhaps we'll have more information for the next episode. But not before time, I don't think.
Well, there is a bit of work that we are looking into in Malaysia on that front as well. So let's see, maybe we can use this should I say, ripple, make it into a wave for our company.
Yeah, surfing the palm oil wave, baby.
Why not?
Now, the next one I want to talk about is very on the fringe. Ivan Park in California. 320 megawatts of solar thermal power, costing $2.2 billion US. Wow.
Yeah.
That's like $5.6 million per megawatt.
Amazing.
How can you make money out of that?
Amazing. I have no idea what the strategy is for the US, but I don't know. Prices over there are relatively reasonable from what I hear in terms of fuel and energy. So I'm not really sure what the business model is for that one.
Well, one of the things that when you read the articles, the articles will come up on, as in the text as we go, people will be seeing this. It's 1,400 acres. So that's like 700 hectares, or 600 hectares. Now, if you take into consideration the amount of the value of that land in terms of its rental value or its ability to make something else, then this deal looks even worse.
Well, usually CSP is out in the middle of nowhere, right? And then you've got to do the evac, and that actually is what costs money.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but that one,
things like that.
Yeah, I just think that one's got warts.
It's still I mean, $5 million per megawatt is a bit. It's amusing.
It's crazy. Would you spend $5,000 per megawatt?
No. Per kilowatt.
Well, when we were doing biogas, it was what, 1.8 million
for a megawatt.
Yeah, per megawatt. So, and that's with an engine.
Well, if you're looking at conventional, right, you're looking at what, 800,000 to $1 million per megawatt in terms of gas.
Well, if you're talking coal, it's about 800 if you're using the Chinese system, and $1 million if you're using probably a more advanced, reliable system.
So that's the competition. So.
Yeah, I just think the model, the economics, everybody's a bit confused by the economics. So perhaps as we go through this series, we might do a bit more about the economics.
Sounds good. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, the next big thing, the big eco hero of the week.
Eco Hero.
Obviously, living in Singapore and Malaysia, the haze is a big issue for all of us.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. The World Resource Institute and Google have banded together to make a real-time GIS map of all of the fires and who's burning.
Biodiversity as well.
Yeah, and biodiversity.
But it's always good to know who's burning what and where and how much.
Yeah.
Well, I think the companies don't know.
Well, the companies don't know because they have no idea that the downline of what's burning, the amount. So they all assume, oh no, it's not me, but if you don't burn it into them.
Oops.
Yeah, it's a situation because
The reporting has been an issue, right? And I think Singapore just beginning with its SGX index for green companies and whatnot underneath IIX, which is the Impact Investment Exchange. So I think these things will definitely have to be accounted for eventually.
Okay.
Whether it's this burning season or the next.
Okay, but is that going to have an impact?
Eventually, I think we've seen a change in the palm oil side, right, with certifications and all that, with the EU buying. So likewise, if global timber gets affected by procurement due to these sorts of situations, then yes, of course, it will change.
Yeah,
It's a much bigger picture, and a
I
much
think
bigger issue.
there's a lot of issues, and hopefully we'll have an interview up in a week or two talking
that'd be
about the
good.
complexity about that. But my take is that it's nice to see that Google is actually, really, really doing something powerful.
It's supposed to be a
Because
green
Google's
company.
well, that's one. Google reaches out to the people. A lot of people don't know
Yeah.
this whole haze matter, how serious it is. They read it in the papers because as a public or as a lay person, you're like, oh yeah, I see haze, oh my god, we're all going to die. But they don't really know.
I ran away. The last time I ran away to Thailand.
Let's go on holiday.
Yeah, I did. I took my daughter and I went to Thailand for 10 days.
First of all, people are not educated enough to know what exactly goes on, why it's happening, who's controlling it, and who's controlling it the right way
Yeah,
or not.
yeah.
So it's very great. It's a very great area.
If you go to the grassroots level, apparently this is not uncommon. It just depends on where the wind is blowing. So
Who burns first?
and who burns first, yeah. So it's maybe about
Burn now.
actually burning down, yeah.
Okay, we'll all burn. Yeah, well, I think that's what
Going
happened
in
last
and building it from ground up as well. It's not just a top down or a policy issue.
Well, I was reading some information that people in Sarawak are very concerned about this because the people who are smallholders, I think it's Wilmar that made a thing saying that they're not buying from peatland or deforested areas, and of course quite a lot of smallholders, small people who own palm oil places, growing areas, they're the ones who are going to be affected, and they're the people that have been pulled out of poverty by this.
Yeah.
And so it is quite a complex issue, and I think it's like everybody says, palm oil bad. No, palm oil's not bad. What the problem is, it's just not working properly at the moment. It needs a lot more work.
And it still goes back to education and marketing it the
Yeah.
right way. I mean, I'm all about marketing here and all that. A lot of
Awareness.
times, people don't market it the right way. I'm not saying that you're going to pull a small screen and say, oh, palm oil is good, but it's not. It's just educating people. It's all about education, which a lot of the companies don't do it well.
In this reference, the smoke screen is what's causing the issue.
Yes, the
Yeah.
haze.
Yeah.
Bob. Everybody's a comedian. I'll have
All pun intended.
Check, please.
But yes.
Now that the fun one of the week, the Eco Wally of the week.
Oh boy.
Eco Wally.
Yeah. Now, being an Australian, I probably can comment on this because you guys would be very loath to comment on it. But Tony Abbott, who's the Prime Minister of Australia, is a very interesting fellow, and he's pulled the Liberal Party together pretty well. But he's not particularly popular with the electorate in many ways. But it just confounds me how he would appoint Dick Warburton, who is a recognised carbon. Well, he's not a carbon skeptic. He doesn't believe he's a carbon skeptic. I think the term he used was. I don't know what the science isn't proved yet. Well, I think if you do a statistical analysis of the articles pro and con climate change, I think you'll find that it is in 3 standard deviations in the positive for acceptance. So I don't know what his problem is. But appointing Dick Warburton just was, I found that incredible. I really found that incredible. I mean, you guys are external to that, but you just thought that was a bit weird, or?
Well, the policy seems pretty straightforward. You as a nation, I think Australia is basically trying to justify what the current government that's come into power wants to do. And in order to do that, you need to select certain people that enable you to do that.
Woof woof.
And,
Sorry, I shouldn't say that.
There you go.
You're Australian, right?
Yeah, yes.
Just checking.
Well, I'm Australian for the moment. I might take my passport.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a means to an end, I guess. And let's see what happens with the outcome of this analysis, actually. It'll be amusing.
Well, it's interesting because the other guy that they've appointed is somebody who is quite a strong scientist. I mean, the legislation is that they have to renew it every 2 years. So that they should appoint someone. But I think having someone with such strident views, someone who's spoken so stridently in a negative manner about this sort of issue. Like, I don't for a moment, it's not a matter of belief. I'm trained as a scientist, I'm trained as an engineer. The mathematics and the research is all there.
Climate
change is
it's true, but there's also a lot of skeptics, and there's a huge
industry behind it.
yes.
Yeah, well, I think that
trillions actually.
well, a $20 per tonne carbon price is not a good idea.
No.
It should be market linked, and I
Sure.
think then that's fine. But I think my take was that I just felt that was really stupid. I'm very disappointed with Tony Abbott's government for doing that. So there you go, Tony. You heard it from me. I know you're going to be quivering in your boots now. Now, as this is the first session, we don't have a chance to get feedback from our audience.
Yeah.
But hopefully we're going to get some feedback after this. You never know, we might not get any feedback, which would be really embarrassing.
Yeah.
But that's a possibility.
We'll just do another round.
So we're going to do another session in 2 weeks. So we'll
Yeah.
have some more headlines and some more heroes and wallies.
Get another couple of people on the table.
Yeah, we should get a few more people. So we'd love to hear if there's anybody who would like us to discuss anything or give our views on anything. I'm sure that we're quite happy to give our views.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much, guys. Thanks for your time.
Thanks.
And
Thanks.
there you go. We're all good.
Have a good week.
Have a good week.
Bye.